Class 11th, subject physics, 4th chapter, laws of motion. From this chapter, let us see the principle of conservation of linear momentum. The principle of conservation of linear momentum. We know that linear momentum of a body is the product of mass and velocity of that body. Now, according to Newton's second law of motion, force F is equal to rate of change of linear momentum, that is dp by dt. From this relation, if no force is acting on that body, that is F is equal to 0, at that time dp by dt will be equal to 0. So if F is equal to 0, then dp by dt will be equal to 0, and as dp by dt is equal to 0, that is the rate of change of momentum is equal to 0, that is derivative of linear momentum is equal to 0, and therefore we know that if the derivative is equal to 0, then that quantity must be constant, and therefore linear momentum p must be equal to constant. So that from this condition, that is if dp by dt is equal to 0, as force is equal to 0, and hence p will be equal to constant, that is linear momentum is constant, mv equal to constant. Therefore we can state this principle of conservation of linear momentum as the total momentum of any isolated system is conserved during any interaction. The total momentum of any isolated system is conserved during any interaction, that is the total momentum before interaction must be equal to total momentum after interaction. And now let us see the collisions. Now what is collision first, and then we will consider different types of collisions. So during collisions, a number of objects come together. So in case of collisions, the number of objects come together, they interact, that is exert forces on each other, and then scatter in different directions. That is, in case of collisions, the number of objects will come together, they will gather together, they will come in contact with each other, then they will interact, that is they will exert forces on each other, and after that they will get separated or scattered in different directions. That is, if you consider this example, then in this example there are two bodies A and B having masses m1 and m2. So this situation A will represent before interaction, that is these two bodies will come together, so that body A is moving with initial velocity u1, body B is moving with initial velocity u2 along the same line and in the same direction, such that u1 will be greater than u2, u1 is greater than u2. So after some time there will be interaction between these two, that is these two bodies will come in contact with physical contact. So again two bodies A and B having masses m1 and m2 will be in contact with each other, that is they will exert forces on each other. The force F12 will be acting on body A by body B, which will be directed in the backward direction, and the force acting F21 on body B will be directed in the forward direction. That is, oppositely directed forces will be acting here on these two bodies when there is interaction between them or when they are in contact with each other. Now after interaction, these two bodies will get now scattered or separated in different directions. That is, the body of mass m1, that is A, will be pushed in the backward direction with final velocity v1, and the second body of mass m2, that is B, will be pushed in the forward direction with velocity v2, such that v2 will be now greater than v1. So this will be the third case in which the bodies are separated or scattered after interaction. And now if you consider the situation of these collisions, then during a collision, if you consider the condition, then during a collision, the linear momentum of entire system of the particles is always conserved. During a collision, if you consider this case, then during a collision, the linear momentum of entire system of the particles is always conserved, as there is no external force acting on the system of particles. As there is no force acting on the system of the particles, therefore the linear momentum of the entire system of the particles is always conserved, and therefore as there is conservation of linear momentum, we can say that during the collision the summation of P initial must be equal to summation of P final. That is, before interaction the sum of linear momentum must be equal to the sum of momentum after the interaction. So initial momentum, that is momentum of the system before collision, must be equal to final momentum, that is the momentum after collision. So during a collision we can say that the total momentum before collision must be equal to total momentum after collision. Now the kinetic energy of the entire system may or may not be conserved. Though here there is conservation of this linear momentum, the kinetic energy of that system may or may not remain constant or may not be conserved. So the conservation of kinetic energy may or may not be there during any collision. And now let us consider the different types of collision. So if you consider the collisions, they are classified into two groups, that is elastic collision and inelastic collision. Elastic collision and inelastic collision, these are the two different types of collision. Now let us see first what is this elastic collision. What is the meaning of this elastic collision? So a collision is said to be elastic collision if the kinetic energy of the entire system is conserved during the collision. A collision is said to be elastic collision if the kinetic energy of the entire system is conserved during the collision. That means in case of elastic collision, both momentum as well as kinetic energy of the entire system is conserved, and therefore for elastic collision we can write the sum of, that is summation of kinetic energy initial must be equal to summation of kinetic energy final. That is, kinetic energy of that system before collision must be equal to kinetic energy of that system after collision. That is, in case of elastic collision, both momentum as well as kinetic energy of that entire system remains constant. Now if you consider the elastic collisions, then the collisions between atoms and molecules, the collisions between atoms and molecules will be considered as the elastic collisions. So in these collisions there will be conservation of both momentum as well as kinetic energy. And now let us consider the second type, that is inelastic collision. Now what is that inelastic collision? So a collision is said to be inelastic. A collision is said to be inelastic if there is a loss of kinetic energy during the collision but the linear momentum is conserved. A collision is said to be elastic collision if there is loss of kinetic energy during the collision but the linear momentum is conserved. That is, in case of this inelastic collision, again the momentum of the entire system will be conserved but the kinetic energy will not be conserved. There will be loss in kinetic energy. That is, in case of inelastic collision, the sum of kinetic energy initial must be greater than the sum of kinetic energy final, that is after collision. So kinetic energy before collision will be greater than the kinetic energy after collision. That means there will be loss of kinetic energy during this type of the collision. And now let us see a special case of inelastic collision, that is perfectly inelastic collision. Perfectly inelastic collision. Now what is that perfectly inelastic collision? If the colliding bodies join or stick together after collision, then the collision is said to be perfectly inelastic collision. If the colliding bodies join or stick together after collision, then the collision is said to be perfectly inelastic collision. That is, the colliding bodies have their common final velocity. That means both these bodies will move with common velocity, same velocity after collision, and there is loss in kinetic energy, and for this type of collision the loss in kinetic energy will be maximum. So in case of perfectly inelastic collision, the loss in kinetic energy of that body is maximum. The example we will consider here for perfectly inelastic collision, because in case of inelastic collision, the collisions which take place in our day-to-day life are considered as inelastic collision. Now let us consider the example which will describe elastic, inelastic and perfectly inelastic collision. For that purpose, let us consider a bullet which is fired towards a block kept on a smooth surface. A bullet is fired towards the stationary block which is placed on the smooth surface. Then collision between the bullet and the block will be elastic if the bullet rebounds with exactly the same initial speed and the block remains stationary. So initially that block is stationary, bullet will be fired towards that block. If suppose after striking that block, if the bullet is rebounding with same initial velocity and that block is at rest or stationary, at that time it will give rise to the elastic collision. If the bullet gets embedded, that is it passes, it enters into the block, and both of them, that is bullet as well as that block, will now move jointly. If both are moving jointly, then it is perfectly inelastic collision. Suppose that bullet enters into that block and then after entering into that block, when it enters into the block and then both are moving with the same speed together with each other, at that time we can say that it is perfectly inelastic collision. Now if the bullet, if you consider the bullet, if that bullet rebounds again with small speed or comes out of the block on the other side with some speed, then it will be inelastic collision. If the speed of that bullet is not equal to its initial speed, at that time it will give rise to the inelastic collision, and therefore the elastic collisions are always perfectly elastic. Elastic collisions are always perfectly elastic, and inelastic collisions are either partially or perfectly inelastic. So elastic collisions are perfectly elastic, but inelastic collisions will be partially or perfectly inelastic. And now let us see the next point, that is coefficient of restitution. Coefficient of restitution. What is this coefficient of restitution? Denoted by E. So the coefficient of restitution will be defined as, for collision between the two objects, the negative ratio of relative velocity of separation to the relative velocity of approach is called as coefficient of restitution E. For collision between two objects, the negative ratio of the relative velocity of separation to the relative velocity of approach is called as the coefficient of restitution E. So in this case it is the negative ratio, and it will be the negative ratio of relative velocity of separation to the relative velocity of approach. And therefore if you consider the case of one dimensional or head-on collision, one-dimensional or head-on collision, then a collision is said to be head-on if colliding objects move along the same straight line before and after collision. If the colliding bodies are moving along the same straight line after or before the collision, then such type of collision is called as head-on collision. And now consider such a head-on collision of two bodies of masses m1 and m2 with respective initial velocities u1 and u2. So we are consider the colliding bodies having masses m1 and m2 moving with initial velocities u1 and u2. Then the relative velocity of approach, the relative velocity of approach, that is before collision, will be ua equal to u2 minus u1. So the relative velocity of approach will be given as ua equal to u2 minus u1. Now if v1 and v2 are the final velocities, that is after collision, then relative velocity of separation, that is after collision, vs will be equal to v2 minus v1. So this is the relative velocity of approach, this is the relative velocity of separation. Relative velocity will be nothing but the difference between the velocities, and therefore the coefficient of restitution E will be given as now. The coefficient of restitution E is, it is the negative ratio of V, that is here Vs to UA or VA, that will be equal to minus of V2 minus V1 upon U2 minus U1. So this will be the relative velocity of separation, this is the relative velocity of approach, and therefore it will be written as V1 minus V2 upon U2 minus U1. As this is minus of V2 minus V1, so this minus minus will become plus, so V1 is taken as plus and V2 will be taken as minus, and therefore it will be written as V1 minus V2 upon U2 minus U1. So this will represent the relative velocity of separation, divided by relative velocity of approach, and therefore this will be the coefficient of restitution for this head-on collision. Now for perfectly inelastic collision, the colliding bodies move jointly after collision. That is, for this case V2 will be equal to V1, or V2 minus V1 will be equal to 0, and hence for perfectly inelastic collision E will be equal to 0. For perfectly inelastic collision, V1 and V2 are same, that is V1 minus V2 will be equal to 0, and therefore for perfectly inelastic collision E will be equal to 0. So for perfectly inelastic collision, coefficient of restitution E is equal to 0. Now let us consider the next case, that is head-on elastic collision. Now here it will be for elastic collision, head-on collision, that is according to principle of conservation of linear momentum. So by the conservation of linear momentum, so from the principle of conservation of linear momentum, we can say that the total initial momentum must be equal to total final momentum. Total initial momentum must be equal to total final momentum, and it will be given as m1 u1 plus m2 u2, that is initial momentum, will be equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2, that is final momentum. So this will be before interaction, that is initial momentum. This will be final, that is after interaction, the final momentum. That is, from this we can write, taking terms of m1 and m2 on both sides, we will get m1 u1 minus m1 v1. So m1 u1, and this will become minus m1 v1, will be equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2. Then taking common m1 and m2 from these two terms, we will get m1 into u1 minus v1 must be equal to m2 into v2 minus u2. Let it be equation number 1. So this will be equation from principle of conservation of linear momentum. Similarly, as collision is now elastic collision, therefore the kinetic energy of the entire system is conserved, and therefore according to law of conservation of energy, then we can write the kinetic energy before collision must be equal to kinetic energy after collision, and therefore this will be written as half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square. This will be the initial kinetic energy, that will be equal to final kinetic energy, that is half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Again 2 will get cancelled from all the four terms, and again we will rearrange the terms, that is terms having m1 will be collected together and m2 will be collected together. Therefore we can write from this m1 into u1 square minus v1 square must be equal to m2 into v2 square minus u2 square. So terms of m1 and m2 are taken together, and therefore we will get this equation. That is, this will be now written as, by using the formula a square minus b square as a plus b and a minus b, it will be written as m1 into u1 plus v1 u1 minus v1 u1 plus v1 u1 minus v1 equal to m2 into v2 plus u2 v2 minus u2 v2 plus u2 v2 minus u2. Let it be equation number 2. And now dividing equation 2 by equation 1. Dividing equation 2 by equation 1, we can write m1 into u1 plus v1 u1 minus v1 upon m1 into u1 minus v1 u1 minus v1. That is, left side of 2 will be divided by left side of 1. Then right side will be divided by right side, and therefore on right side we will get m2 into v2 plus u2 into v2 minus u2 upon m2 into v2 minus u2. So in this case m1 will get cancelled, u1 minus v1 will get cancelled, and only here u1 plus v1 we will get. Similarly here m2 will get cancelled, then v2 minus u2 will get cancelled, and we will get only v2 plus u2. And therefore we can write here u1 plus v1 must be equal to v2 plus u2, or rearranging the terms we can write u2 minus u1 must be equal to v1 minus v2. So this will be the relative velocity of approach. This will be relative velocity of separation. Again, by the definition of the coefficient of restitution E, we can write E is equal to v1 minus v2 upon u2 minus u1. And as here it is elastic collision, therefore we can say that relative velocity of separation will be equal to relative velocity of approach, and therefore E will be equal to 1 for elastic collision. So if the collision is elastic, then the relative velocity of approach must be equal to relative velocity of separation, and hence we can say that E is equal to 1. Now for the elastic collision, the coefficient of restitution will be equal to 1. Similarly, for perfectly inelastic collision, E will be equal to 0. Therefore, for any collision, the coefficient of restitution lies between 0 and 1, and therefore we can say that as for elastic collision, E is equal to 1. For perfectly inelastic collision, E is equal to 0. Therefore, for any collision, the coefficient of restitution E must be in between 0 and 1. So this will be regarding coefficient of restitution.